Alright, let's be honest, the American immigration system, it's about as straightforward and easy to understand as, well, let's just say a toddler's interpretation of quantum physics. It's messy, it's complicated, and frankly it's been long overdue for an overhaul, but now, the year is 2025, and guess what, the overhaul is here. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, we'll get to that. If you're an immigrant, a visa holder, or just someone who enjoys the thrilling uncertainty of bureaucratic roulette, this video is for you. We're diving headfirst into the latest immigration policy changes, green card updates, and potential visa restrictions that might just leave you saying, wait, they did what? So buckle up, grab your passports, and maybe a lawyer just in case, because we're about to break down everything you need to know about navigating U.S. immigration in 2025. And trust me, you're going to want to take notes. Okay, so the U.S. government, in their infinite wisdom, has decided to tackle immigration reform. You might be thinking, finally, it's about time. And you wouldn't be alone. But before we all break out the champagne, let's just say that this isn't exactly the sweeping reform that many were hoping for. It's more like they took the existing system, threw it in a blender with some new rules, hit pulse a few times, and poured out, well, something. The stated aim? To streamline the process, reduce backlogs, and maybe, just maybe, make the whole thing a little less anxiety-inducing for everyone involved. But as with most things in life, the devil is in the details. First up, we've got new regulations on family-based migration. The new rules place stricter limits on who can sponsor family members, with a focus on immediate family and highly skilled workers. And speaking of highly skilled workers, let's talk about the H-1B visa program. The requirements for these visas have become stricter than a college professor grading finals after a long weekend. We're talking higher salary thresholds, more rigorous vetting processes, and enough paperwork to make a bureaucrat blush. So, is the immigration overhaul a step in the right direction, or a step backwards into a minefield of bureaucratic hurdles? Honestly, it's probably a bit of both. Welcome back to the most stressful game show on YouTube, where the grand prize is the opportunity to legally live and work in the United States. Today we're talking about the green card, that elusive document that's more valuable than a winning lottery ticket to millions around the world. But here's the thing, getting your hands on a green card has never been easy. And guess what? It just got a whole lot harder. Think of it like this. Imagine trying to put together a 10,000-piece jigsaw puzzle. But the pieces keep changing shape and someone keeps hiding the picture on the box. That's the green card process in a nutshell. First off, the processing times, forget about it. We're talking glacial pace here, folks. And if you're thinking, well, at least I can track the progress online, you're in for a world of hurt. The online system is about as reliable as a weather forecast in a hurricane. The requirements themselves have been tightened up more than a pair of skinny jeans after a Thanksgiving feast. We're talking stricter financial requirements, more in-depth background checks, and enough paperwork to rival the Library of Congress. So, what does this all mean for you? It means that if you're hoping to get your hands on a green card in 2025, you better be prepared for a long, complicated, and often frustrating journey. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, the immigration crackdown. It's no secret that the US government has been getting stricter on immigration in recent years, but in 2025, it's safe to say that things have reached a whole new level. First in the firing line, undocumented immigrants, increased border security, stricter enforcement of visa overstays, and a renewed focus on deportations. The reality is that if you're living in the US without proper documentation, you're at a higher risk of detention and deportation than ever before. But it's not just undocumented immigrants who are feeling the heat. Even those who have legal status, like visa holders, are finding themselves subject to increased scrutiny. We're talking more frequent visa checks, more detailed questioning at ports of entry, and a general sense that Big Brother is watching your every move. And if you happen to be from a Muslim-majority country, well, buckle up because you're in for a whole other level of scrutiny. The travel ban may have been challenged in court, but its legacy lives on in the form of enhanced vetting procedures for travelers from certain countries. So, who's really affected by this immigration crackdown? The short answer is, a lot of people, but the long answer is much more nuanced and frankly, much more troubling. Chapter 4, Legal Status, Speedrun, Your Options in 2025. So, you've decided you want to pursue the American dream, or at least the 2025 version of it. Congratulations, you've chosen a path filled with paperwork, anxiety, and enough bureaucratic hurdles to make even the most patient person lose their cool. But don't worry, because I'm here to guide you through the maze of legal status options and help you find the fastest way to achieve your American aspirations. Let's start with the classic family-based immigration. If you have a spouse, parent, or child who is a U.S. citizen or green card holder, they can sponsor you for a green card. But be warned, the process is longer, more expensive, and more scrutinized than ever before. Next up, we've got employment-based immigration. This is the path for those of you with skills so in demand, companies are willing to jump through bureaucratic hoops to bring you to America. But here's the catch. The requirements for these visas are stricter than ever, and the competition is fierce. Now let's talk about investment-based immigration. Got a spare $1 million lying around? No? Me neither. But if you do, you might qualify for an EB-5 visa, which grants green cards to investors who create jobs in the U.S. And finally, we have the asylum and refugee route. This option is for individuals fleeing persecution in their home countries. But be warned, the process is long, complex, and often heartbreaking. Chapter 5 Immigration Action Plan. Don't just sit there, do something. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground, and I know it can be overwhelming, but here's the good news. Knowledge is power. And now that you're armed with the knowledge of the 2025 immigration landscape, it's time to take action. Step 1, figure out where you stand. Are you a citizen, a green card holder, a visa holder, living in the shadows? Your current status will determine your next steps. Step 2, do your research. Immigration law is constantly changing, so don't rely on outdated information. Check out the USCIS website, consult with an immigration attorney, and make sure you understand the latest rules and regulations. Step 3, get organized. Gather all your important documents like your passport, visa, birth certificate, and marriage certificate. Make copies, keep them in a safe place, and be prepared to present them at a moment's notice. Step 4, know your rights. It's important to understand your rights as an immigrant or visa holder in the United States. If you're ever detained or questioned by immigration officials, remember that you have the right to remain silent and to speak to an attorney. Step 5, don't be afraid to ask for help. Navigating the U.S. immigration system can be daunting, but you don't have to go it alone. There are many organizations and resources available to help you, so don't hesitate to reach out for assistance. Chapter 6. Stay tuned. The immigration saga continues. Well, folks, there you have it. A crash course in the wild world of U.S. immigration in 2025. We've covered a lot of ground, from the latest policy changes to the potential impact on millions of lives, but one thing is clear, the immigration debate is far from over. As we've seen, the rules are constantly changing, the stakes are high, and the human cost is immeasurable. Whether you're an immigrant, a visa holder, or simply someone who cares about justice and human rights, it's crucial to stay informed and engaged in this critical issue. So, what can you do? For starters, subscribe to this channel. We'll continue to provide you with the latest news, analysis, and dare I say humor to help you navigate the complexities of U.S. immigration. Because, let's face it, sometimes you just need a little laugh to get you through the day, especially when you're dealing with the U.S. government. But it's not just about staying informed, it's about taking action. Contact your elected officials, support organizations that advocate for immigrants' rights, and make your voice heard. Because ultimately, the future of immigration in this country depends on all of us. Outro: The Immigration Guru, your guide to the American dream, or at least the visa process. Well, that was a roller coaster of emotions, wasn't it? Immigration, you can't escape it, and honestly, in 2025, it's more confusing than a raccoon trying to open a bag of chips. But fear not, my friend, because knowledge is power. And honestly, who needs a gym membership when you can get a workout just trying to understand the latest visa regulations? So, if you found this video even remotely helpful, even if it just made you realize you need a stiff drink and a good immigration lawyer, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. We'll be here every week breaking down the latest immigration news because, honestly, somebody's got to do it, and I'm pretty sure it's me. And hey, if you're feeling really adventurous, check out our other videos where we delve into the fascinating world of green card interviews, the thrilling drama of visa renewals, and the always entertaining saga of the U.S. citizenship test. Trust me, it's more exciting than it sounds. See you next time.